Hello, everybody, on this cold night here. It's been minus 30 today Celsius where I'm at. So if you do hear something in the background, it is my furnace kicking in and out. Glad to have that working today, especially with how cold it is. So today I'm going to be looking at Islands by King Crimson, the album released December 3rd, 1971. Genre is prog rock, jazz fusion. Features Robert Fripp on guitar, mellotron, harmonium, Peter Sinfield on lyrics, Mel Collins on sax and flute, Ian Wallace on drums, and Boz Burrell on bass and lead vocals. So the track listing is Formentera Lady, Sailor's Tale, The Letters, Ladies of the Road, Prelude, Song of the Gulls, and Islands. Now, coming off of Lizard, which was very much an avant-garde album, you hear bits and pieces, especially the first couple songs on this album, that feel like a continuation of that. But then once you hit like the Letters all the way to Islands, it just turns it into an absolutely majestic album to listen to. Just a lot of stuff, and it's so good. But let's get into each track. Formentera Lady has this very string intro, very much like either an oboe or a violin, but it's just so beautiful, and you have this flute and piano underneath with it that just gives it this haunting feel. Boz Burrell's vocals are very much on this album, I guess, especially the slow stuff, very much in the same vein of Greg Lake, Gordon Haskell, John Wetton. So it works. Like, one thing I'll give Robert Fripp, he was always able to find really darn good singers to sing in his band. There's just some very nice bass lines throughout, nice and thick. Very much in that Chris Squire vein, where it's like you can play it, you can hear it. It just cuts through everything. It's very nice to hear. Nice acoustics underneath the bass. Solo sections that are absolutely beautiful. But also there's a female, I believe it's soprano vocalist underneath at one point, and just gives it a whole nother dimension to the song. It works quite well. On to the next song, Sailor's Tale. Very jazzy intro, infectious bass lines. A great sax playing by Mel Collins. That's one thing I'll give him on this entire album. He is absolutely fantastic with this stuff. Song changes into what sounds like interesting guitar sounds. I believe it's guitar. Don't quote me on that. Kind of the hard thing about some of this prog stuff is some of it's piano, some of it's other stuff. To me, it sounds like a guitar, so I'm hoping I'm right. There's just some great bass and drumming throughout. Mellotron underneath. I love how the song comes down from its climax to just this very ominous feeling section. Really good. On to song number 3. This is where the album to me really starts to pick up and really shine, is The Letters. It has a very ballady feel. It's very beautiful, lush, nice guitar, but it's also very the mood turns sinister. It's singing, and it's pretty much singing about a lady writing another lady that she cheated, that her husband cheated on her with her. It's actually very interesting. And to hear the way it goes through a Fripp guitar solo into jazz section with freakouts, loud vocals, and I love the soft vocal delivery by Boz. Fantastic. Also forgot to mention on the previous song, Sailor's Tale, it's instrumental. Something you don't necessarily get very much from King Crimson, I believe, is very much like instrumentals. So it was nice to hear one. On to song number 4, Ladies of the Road. It's a soft melodic vocal style to it. Reminds me a lot of like what you might hear with the Beatles. It's very soft, but then you get to like choruses and it's like, sounds very, I have to say Beatles-esque. That's what it reminds me of. Guitar intro almost has a dirty also feeling. It's weird. You have like these Beatles like vocals, but it's like with a very dirty guitar kind of riff or jazz riff to it. Very interesting. Band kicks in with a great sax part. and very infectious bass lines. Like, one thing I'll give Boz Burrell, his bass is so good. Like, whenever you hear it, very much like Gordon Haskell, carrying on from that, is that the bass parts that are written are done so well and infectious that you just can't help it, even though it's jazz, just nodding your head to it. It's really good. Picks up on the second verse, fall. Like I said, it's kind of like a Beatles, Queen, Uriah Heep, almost feeling vocal harmony on the chorus with the ladies of the road. It's like, underneath. It works quite well. And I do like very vocally melodic chorus, Robert Fripp's guitar solo into a sax solo. Great song. Now on to Prelude, Song of the Gulls. This is where I will say this and the next song, Islands, to me, and I put a post of this on YouTube, this is the most beautiful piece of music so far I've heard from King Crimson. You get Song of the Gulls, a soft classical sounding intro that's just beautiful. You could just close your eyes, listen to it, picture it, just be transported off into a whole nother place. Islands, I wrote here, one of the most beautiful songs I've ever heard with soft vocals, piano in winds. 1 minute section of like, feels like beach waves and calm. It's just throughout, you can hear it. It's not like, there's none of the what I say, typical King Crimson avant-garde stuff in it. It's just beautiful. It's kind of that classical sound, like very good instrumentation on this. Beautiful sax or trumpet solo in there also. But man, I just can't get over how good this song is. Like, combined both, it's like a 16-minute song maybe. It's so good to listen to. The only part that really threw me off is at the end, because I listened to these on Spotify. So at the end of the song, you get the section where the song kind of feels like it ended, and then all of a sudden all this studio stuff comes in and talking and stuff. Not that that's a bad thing or anything, it's just very weird to hear. Like, I've heard it used in other songs, so it's not something I haven't heard before. I just find it always weird when bands do that. But anyway, really good song. Best song on the album. I had to throw Prelude, Song of the Gulls, and Islands just as one. That's my favorite song of the album. My hidden gem for this album would have to be The Letters. I like that song. Or even Ladies of the Road as well. Same thing. Really, really good stuff. Melodic. Works well. Worst song on the album? I don't think there is one. The good, like I said, most of this album is really damn good, solid. You can listen to it, just get through it. It works so well together. Only shame is that this is the only album this lineup ever did, and this is the last featuring Mel Collins on bass, which is so sad because I really enjoyed his sax. But onto the next album, you get what I think people would call the classic King Crimson lineup. Probably the longest lasting to that point King Crimson lineup of Fripp, Bruford, and Wetton, which I'm really looking forward to hearing. But anyway, if I had to give this album a grade out of 5, this is solid for me, a 5 out of 5. This is actually, I think this might actually be my favorite so far King Crimson album. I might have to go re-listen to them. But at least up to now, I believe this is my favorite out of all of them. Just beautiful, lush, everything works. So that's my album review. I'd like to know, what do you guys think of King Crimson's Islands album? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Are you kind of different about it? Please let me know down below in the comment section, like always. Once again, thank you for watching this video. I love getting your guys' comments and reading them, good, bad, and different. And I just like talking to you guys about music. But anyway, once again, Thank you guys for watching. This is me signing out. Peace.